The day the world held its breath, June 6, 1944. The world was at war, and Europe was in darkness. Nazi Germany controlled much of the continent. Cities were crushed. Families were broken. Entire nations lived under fear. But on one night, in the cold waters of the English Channel, something began that would decide the future of the world. It wasn't just a battle. It was the beginning of the end. This is the true story of D-Day, the most dangerous invasion in modern history, and the day ordinary soldiers changed the fate of humanity. Why D-Day had to happen by 1944, World War II had already consumed millions of lives. Germany had conquered France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. The Soviet Union was fighting for survival in the East. The Allies had made progress in North Africa and Italy, but it was not enough. If the Allies wanted to defeat Hitler, they needed to do something terrifying: invade Nazi-occupied Europe directly. That meant crossing the English Channel under enemy fire and landing an army onto beaches protected by machine guns, mines, and artillery. For years, Hitler expected the invasion. He built massive coastal defenses called the Atlantic Wall. Bunkers, steel obstacles, mines, concrete walls. The message was clear: come if you dare. And the Allies did. The plan that could not fail the invasion was called Operation Overlord. It was the largest amphibious assault ever attempted. Thousands of ships, thousands of aircraft, more than 150,000 soldiers preparing to land on the coast of France in a single day. The plan was to hit 5 beaches: Utah, Omaha, Gold, Juno, Sword. Each beach had its own mission. If the Allies failed, Germany would crush them, and the war could drag on for years or end in disaster. Because once you send an army into the sea, there is no easy retreat. But the Allies knew one thing: if Germany knew where the invasion would happen, the invasion would fail. So they launched one of the greatest deception campaigns in history. They created fake armies, fake tanks made of inflatable rubber, fake radio messages, fake bases. They convinced Hitler that the invasion would happen at Pas-de-Calais, not Normandy. Even when signs pointed to Normandy, Hitler hesitated. The deception worked, and that hesitation saved thousands of lives. The night before the invasion, on the night of June 5th, the soldiers waited. Many wrote letters. Many prayed. Many stayed silent. Some had never seen combat before. Some were teenagers. They were told the truth: tomorrow, many of you will not come back. The sea was rough. The weather was uncertain. Some commanders wanted a delay. But General Eisenhower made the decision. He looked at the stormy skies and said, "We go." The sky opens. Paratroopers drop behind enemy lines before the beach landings even began. Allied paratroopers jumped from planes into darkness. Their mission was to seize bridges, destroy enemy defenses, and block German reinforcements. But the night was chaos. Planes were scattered by clouds and anti-aircraft fire. Many soldiers landed in the wrong places. Some drowned in flooded fields. Others were captured immediately. Small groups fought alone, surrounded by enemies. This wasn't a clean operation. This was survival. And yet, even in the chaos, the paratroopers succeeded in slowing German response. They bought the beaches precious time. The beaches. The moment of truth. As dawn approached, the invasion fleet arrived. From the German bunkers, soldiers watched the horizon. And then they saw it. An ocean of ships. A floating city of steel. The invasion had begun. Utah Beach. The luckiest landing at Utah Beach. Something unexpected happened. American troops landed slightly off course. But instead of disaster, it helped them. They faced lighter resistance and moved inland faster than planned. Utah became one of the most successful landings of the day. But not every beach was that lucky. Omaha Beach. Hell on earth. Omaha Beach became the nightmare of D-Day. The American soldiers landing there faced deadly defenses. Machine guns firing non-stop, mines buried under sand, artillery raining down, steel obstacles designed to tear boats apart, landing craft doors opened, and men were cut down instantly. Some drowned under the weight of their gear before even firing a shot. Bodies piled in the water. For many, Omaha didn't feel like a battle. It felt like an execution. Officers were killed. Units were scattered. Communication collapsed. For a moment, it looked like the invasion would fail right there. But then something happened. Small groups of soldiers began moving forward. Not because they were ordered, because there was no other choice. They crawled through sand. They climbed cliffs. They attacked bunkers with grenades in pure desperation. They fought inch by inch. And slowly, the German defenses began to crack. Gold, Juno, and Sword. A fight for the future. Meanwhile, British and Canadian forces landed at Gold, Juno, and Sword beaches. Resistance was heavy, but progress was made. Tanks rolled through barriers. Engineers cleared mines. Troops pushed inland. At Juno, Canadian soldiers fought fierce battles through villages and streets. At Sword, British troops raced to reach the city of Cannes, a key target. But German counterattacks threatened everything. The first hours were critical. If Germany pushed the Allies back into the sea, the war could be lost. Why Germany didn't stop the invasion, many ask. If Germany had so many defenses, why didn't they crush the Allies? The answer is simple. Hitler hesitated. German commanders requested permission to move tank divisions early in the morning. But Hitler believed the real invasion was still coming at Pas-de-Calais. So he delayed. Hours were lost. And in war, hours are everything. By the time German reinforcements arrived, the Allies had already built a foothold. The door to Europe was open. The cost of D-Day: by the end of June 6th, the Allies had landed over 150,000 troops. But the cost was brutal. Thousands were dead or wounded. Many never even reached the shore. The beaches were covered with smoke, blood, and broken equipment. Yet despite the horror, the invasion succeeded. Why D-Day changed history? D-Day was not the end of World War II, but it made the end possible. It forced Germany to fight on two fronts. The Soviet Union pushing from the east, the Allies pushing from the west. Germany could not survive that pressure. Over the next weeks, the Allies expanded their position in Normandy. France would be liberated. Paris would fall back into freedom. And within a year, Nazi Germany would collapse. The real lesson of D-Day: D-Day reminds us that history is not changed by kings alone. It is changed by ordinary people forced into impossible situations. Teenagers who crossed an ocean knowing they might die. Medics who ran into gunfire to save strangers. Engineers who cleared mines with shaking hands. Not because they wanted glory, but because they wanted the war to end. The day the world turned when the sun set on June 6th, 1944, the beaches of Normandy were no longer Nazi territory. They were a doorway to liberation, a doorway to victory, and a doorway built with sacrifice. D-Day was not just a battle. It was the day the world finally fought back and refused to lose. If you want more war documentaries like this, subscribe for more untold stories of history. Because some days are not just remembered, they are written in blood.